Hello, welcome. So, my name's Amy, and I decided that I wanted to start a podcast because why not? And it's fun, and I think it's just gonna be really entertaining and a great journey to go on. So this is my first ever one. It's gonna evolve, hopefully. This is what I'm hoping, and this is my first guest. Hello. This is, what's your name?
My name, excuse me, my name is Stacey, and Amy is my cousin, actually. Cousins. Yeah. So, I'm just like a very interesting person. So, of course, you would want me as our first guest. Why not?
Yeah, and
who else were you going to pick?
To be fair, and also...
No,
to be fair, no one else. To be fair, that's what I'm saying. But also, so full disclosure, I haven't done much prep for this other than watching a few podcasts out there because, you know, I just kind of wanted it to be a bit more of a blank canvas and just let things evolve naturally. And I think that our energy is going to be quite good together.
We've got some good energy.
We've got good energy. So hopefully that comes across. If not, soz.
Enjoy! To be honest, life for me right now, the main problem is just, it's cost of living. It is. I don't want to talk about it really because it's like everyone is going through it and it's like everywhere and it's probably like just such an annoying topic, but it's so difficult right now.
I don't think it's annoying. I think because you're right. It's like really real, man. Like,
yeah.
I've literally come from a place where I haven't paid any attention to any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of always just like stressed about finances. Mm-hmm. But now I'm actually paying more attention to it. Like, how much more expensive things are.
It's like, how are you physically supposed to survive? I don't know. That's the only thing that's really an issue in my life right now is cost of living. I'm getting by. I'm managing. I work. Luckily, I'm in a position where I work. I don't have to depend on like benefits or anything like that. So like I'm lucky. I'm managing to get by, but it's not enough. The thing is, it's got to a point now where everyone is only going to be able to manage to get by. So you're not going to, and I'm not saying,
well to live in,
listen, like, no, yeah, at the end of the day, right, luxuries are exactly that, they're luxuries, but you should be able to, and especially if you had been able to have at least a few luxuries in your life, whether it be a holiday, whether it be that you can splurge when you get your monthly wage, £100 on some clothes or whatever it is that is your luxury, to then not be able to do that and to have the opportunity of even being able to do that gone.
Yeah, and
possibly.
I think as well,
who knows how long?
I think there's the stress as well, the mental health like aspects of it, like the anxiety. Like I get such mad anxiety when it comes to my finances. And you know what? I feel like I am quite ignorant to a lot of the shit that goes on in the world. That's another reason why I wanted to do a podcast to educate myself.
It is a good way.
Yeah, literally.
Probably.
You know what I find really hard as well? Everyone just bullshits. The information out there anyway 100%. Is bullshit. Oh, wow. So it's like you really have to dig deep to find a lot of information to actually be like, is this true or is this not true?
Yeah.
And
we'll probably still never ever know, really.
Well, I don't know. You do get some of these like really like these people who just seem to know like everything, and I think the thing is like knowing where to look and knowing what sources you can trust.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, but that's really like a hard one for me right now. What would you say right now is the most difficult thing going on in your life?
Trying to not be disrespectful and rustle when you're talking about really deep stuff.
It's a first world problem. It's a first world problem. Oh God. What really gets you anxious right now besides like bills, finances?
Okay. What is stressing me out at the moment is my fucking mental health.
Yeah.
Like I've always struggled with anxiety and depression. But you know what? I've lived in a little bubble. I've lived in my own little world. And in my own little world, everything was fantastic. Yeah. And I just glided around, kind of not really paying attention to anything because, you know, I think things just seemed to just work out because I wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
But now the chat has started to get louder. Like, you can hear and see that people are struggling more, that the world is on the verge of a bloody breakdown.
Yeah.
So, like, coming out of this bubble, like, I've had my own personal issues that I've dealt with, but now it's like, okay, well, I can actually see the world for what it is. And it sounds really lame, but it's like, it just hurts my soul so friggin' much.
Yeah.
It just hurts so much. And I just kind of feel like, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, I guess it just adds on to the already kind of messed up stuff that goes on in my head.
Yeah. No, I don't think that sounds lame.
But I think for me, managing anxiety and managing depression, that's two of the biggest things that I struggle with, because it's just day-to-day thing. It's like, I could wake up in the morning sometimes and I will have to literally be like, okay, Amy, make your bed, brush your teeth, like do these things, make sure you eat something, make sure you shower, because it's like everything in my body just wants to stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can't, like, we don't have that luxury to be able to do that. Like, if I just stop, then I won't have a place to live, I won't have food, I won't have this.
And that adds though as well pressure. That adds anxiety. That is something that gets me, because I would love, there's so many times, or that, I mean, even has been times where I have just stopped, you know, and it catches up with me, and like, I can't do that. I have not only myself but the kids.
Of course.
So I have 2 children, and I can't, like, I physically can't. Even by yourself though, you can't. You have to.
But it must be
going,
so much more with kids.
Yeah.
Like, when I got a puppy, that I thought that was stressful, but to actually have 2 kids, like,
it's literally, yeah. I mean, it's really hard to put into words how much stress, pressure, and anxiety you get with it.
Well, I think our treats kind of show right now how much stress and anxiety.
Binging. It's so difficult, because you have these 2 lives that are depending on you. I mean, if you run out of money, if you don't have a job, if you stop because your depression gets to you and you've got nothing coming in, these 2 people don't eat. You're not only starving yourself, you're starving 2 other people.
And the guilt that must come from that must be atrocious.
And do you know what it is? Do you know what I think the worst thing is that they have no idea, absolutely no clue of money. No idea. It's so, it times where maybe I have been down and I don't have money, it's like, Mum, can we get this? Can we get that? Or can we get McDonald's? And I can't even take them into the shop with me, because they'd be asking me, can you buy this? Can you buy that? Well, at that moment in time, all I can afford is a carton of milk. Like, a carton of milk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A pint of milk. Like, and it's hard to explain to a child, look, I don't have the money, or I'm not working right now, or, you know, whatever.
That's quite an interesting point. Like, at what point should children start learning those kind of, like, skills of... Is it a skill?
Well,
Or like,
maybe not a skill, but maybe like just a life lesson. Just a
life lesson, yeah.
Just
like earning money and like pocket money and stuff like that.
Yeah, and an awareness that money is not just something that everybody has, you know. And, you know, so many times, and Ellie was even maybe a year or 2 younger than what she is now, would be like, oh, we could just ask the shop to lend it to us. Aww. You know, they don't get it at all.
That's so sweet.
I know. But they do not understand at all.
Yeah.
And, it is hard. It's really hard. And I think when it comes to when you're thinking about maybe enlightening them and trying to explain to them, like, about money and everything like that and how the world works, I think as soon as you can. But it's more difficult when you have 2 children that have additional needs. You know, because you can maybe explain it to them. Ellie, ADHD, we think, and, you know, you can explain something to her. She can come across like she really understands what you said. 100%, Mum, I get it. Yep, no, I know exactly. She can reply and have a back and forth conversation, talking in the exact right context. So you're like, okay, this kid really gets it. 2 hours later, she's like, yeah, so could we do that now? She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it.
That's brilliant. And I can imagine as well, like that, having that, like, on top of, like, any kind of other mental health issues you might have yourself, like, because, like you say, like, if you, as soon as you like, stop, then it just starts to build up and get worse. And I think, for me personally, I always know that. Like, I know that if I stop and allow it to take over, then it's just going to make it harder for me in the long run. However, you do just get into that place where it's like, you can't. Like, so I feel like having kids, you must possess an extra amount of strength, because, like you say, it's not just you, like, it's the children as well. But
to be fair, you could probably see it in a different way, that, like, your kids give you that strength to continue. Not so much of a negative thing, like, oh, I can't fall apart, like, as if you want to fall apart but you can't because you've got kids. It's more like, I won't fall apart because of my kids. Like, thank God I have my kids to get me through. Yeah. And this is the thing, because I would say it's probably been about maybe 3 months. I don't really have an exact time on when it was that I've started to get into a better place. But definitely the beginning of this year, I made it a goal, an aim, a point, a must, that I need to work on myself and get myself in a better place, because I was so low. I can't even put it into words, like, to explain at what point I was, but I was on the verge of just, that's it, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I can't do life. I can't do life. You know? And I'm like, everyone's been there at one point, or will be, you know, we'll all go through it at some point in our life, but it was just like, I can't continue on like this anymore. And to be fair, if I didn't have my kids, it maybe wouldn't have been possible for me to snap out of it when I did. And don't get me wrong, not snap out of it, because I'm still in that place. So we're always going to have mental health.
Yeah, it's always going to be there. So what would you say was the thing that got you that step closer to being able to, you know, just get on with it and well, fight, or whatever, however you would describe it?
Do you know what it took for me to be sober?
Well, that is the one, isn't it?
It took for me to be sober, which sounds a little silly, because it's like, well, of course you would need to be.
But it's not obvious.
No.
Like, for me, for so long, like, I know my mental health issues are tied in with, like, not being sober, but it's kind of like you start to convince yourself that it's not because of that.
Yeah,
because
you do.
It's such a life raft.
Yeah,
it's something that's been conditioned to kind of like make you feel like you're okay. And it's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it, man?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, and then. It is the sober thing, to be honest, because it's not like I didn't have mental health problems before I was drinking and everything that I was doing, but it's that intensified it heightened it, and because you would get drunk, you'd get messed up, you'd party, whatever it is, and then after it, you feel that much worse about yourself. You feel that much worse in your problems are that much worse. You know, you need to be clear-minded, and it's not to say that I will never, because I'm not sober in a sense of like I'm never going to have a drink again. That's not the case,
but I guess it's like an awareness, isn't it? It's being aware of who you are, how you feel, how it affects you, and what you can handle, and how often
you're doing things, and what your reasons are for doing them. You know, I was drinking way too much last year. This is what it is. I wouldn't say so much that it was that I shouldn't be drinking or I shouldn't be partying or doing what I was doing. It was more I was doing it too often, and I was doing it for no reason. I was
like kind of out of boredom or something.
Yeah.
And because
an escapism.
Yeah, escapism. That's what I was going to say, actually. Yeah, because it is kind of like, it does get to that. Like, I think when you don't want to face your problems, it's very easy to kind of like just be like, oh, okay, let's just do this instead. Because it's a lot easier to just sit there and have a drink and pretend nothing matters for a moment.
Yeah. Do you know how it's so easy to be like, okay, let's get through this day and then I can get a drink at the end of it. And that's not, you waking up in the morning and you're counting down the hours until you can have a drink. Or you're counting down the hours until I'm putting the kids to bed because I can't deal with it. And that's not living.
No, and then it just does really just connect you, and like you get so attached to something, because I genuinely feel like drinking and all of that and everything, it's fun, but really it's a dead end.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you, like, it damages your body. Yeah. It damages your mind.
Yeah.
Like, you do get like a short-term like fix of happiness or whatever, but why are we in society conditioned to like to drink as a result of getting that? Because we can get it without the drink.
100%.
And actually it's so much better because it's so much more balanced. It's so much more, on that note, I'm just going to say, like, I'm drinking this drink at the moment. Not that I'm being sponsored or anything, but it's called Trip. And I had one the other day, and honestly, like, to start with, I was a bit like, just kind of tastes like grassy water. But
grassy water, if that's what you like, come and get it.
But that was basil and lemon flavour. This is peach and ginger. And after I drank it, like, honestly, I felt more relaxed.
Yeah.
I did, because it's got 15 milligrams of CBD in, which is what you would find in a joint. Though a joint would also have THC in, which is the more, is it a hallucinogenic or like psychedelic aspect of it?
Something of that nature.
Yeah, whereas the CBD isn't. It's completely legal, completely normal. I don't know why normal, that's not even making sense. But it does help with anxiety and chilling out. So let's, watch this process and see how this affects me. This food is too good, I really do.
I'm wanting a bakewell.
Oh yeah, good. It's really hard because I really feel like it's disrespectful if I'm sitting here having these conversations and it's going to come across in the camera.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
rip that open.
we're talking about real serious shit, and then we just hear.
Yeah. Do you know what? We could talk about that stuff so much.
No,
like,
let's just
really,
just get along with that.
We could really, really talk about that stuff so much. And I feel like we can't just like dead it and move on. But really, for me, all I want to say on it is it took, and it's different for different people. For me, it took for me to start this year off sober, getting up, getting into a routine. I got the whole house, we were all in a routine, and going to bed at this time, getting up at this time. I'm making all the school lunches the night before, so I'm not rushing in the morning. The kids, this time you're getting a bath, this time you're getting your dinner, this time you're going to bed. And like, not having electronics at the table, eating dinner. It took for me to get a whole regime, routine, set times for everything going. And to be fully sober, no drink of wine at the end of the night or Prosecco or whatever. Just relax, watch my programmes, have a laugh, have a sober conversation with someone and go to bed and get up early in the morning, go for a run. This was just medicine for me, getting up in the morning and going straight for a run. I fell off a little bit right now. I have.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's okay.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just life gets in the way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one thing that I've realised, is that it's when you are so like addicted to something like a drink or like a joint or whatever it is that you're addicted to, like, it's very easy to hate on yourself and fall back to that thing when it's actually that thing that's probably like bringing up all that hatred in the first place. And so for me, I've realised that the key thing with any of this, trying to achieve any goal, is self-compassion.
Yeah.
Like, generally, we need to like learn how to love ourselves more. We do live in a world where we are designed to it's designed to feed off our fears, like designed to kind of like aim at our insecurities, that is the world that we live in, and we are in a digital age where that is all we see, and we see it so much more, and it's so much quicker, and it's so much more in your face.
Yeah.
Like, even this sugar, like, that's a bad one, isn't it? So freaking good, but just like, it's balance, isn't it? Oh.
No. It really is though. And sometimes, and a lot of times it's like you're really just swapping one addiction for another. It really is, and it's hard, you know, like sometimes I think it's like, because I swear it's like an ADHD thing as well. Like I don't know if maybe I have a tad of it, maybe. Because it's like, okay, either all for this or all for that. So like I was all for running at the start of this month, or walking, taking my walks in the morning, going for a run around the park, and then now I'm all for sugar.
But
type thing. That's not what it is.
Yeah, but do you know what I've realised with this? Because that is a pattern. Because you start doing it, and at the end of the day, building new habits is fragile. And they say it takes like 28 days to build a new habit, but in some cases I even think it's going to take longer, because we're sitting here trying to do something which, you know, we know it's better for us. We know we're going to be happier without it. But it's like that pain and sadness creates such a comfort almost that it's just right there. Sugar bags.
It's not so easy to have a conversation with the crippling in your mouth.
Oh man. Yeah, so it's really like you know.
I'm finding it very.
But then I think
very Moorish.
that happens, we fall off, and that's okay. But then it's really important to keep, because all this addiction stuff, that's a short-term gratification.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And we do live in a really fast-paced world where everything is short-term gratification. So it's trying to keep remembering your why. Why are you doing this? Why is it worth me sitting here and going through the pain of not eating all the sugar? Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So then you fall off the bandwagon, which happens to everyone as well. And I think that's the important thing to know, because we can be really hard on ourselves in those moments and be really like, oh, I might as well just quit. I'm never going to do this and never blah, blah, blah.
Which is so easy to do.
So easy to do.
Yeah.
So easy to do. So then at that point you have to start, because even the fact that you know now that you said I was running and now I'm just eating loads of sugar. So you know, and we tend to not want to go towards that things, because then we kind of have to sit there and be like, oh, okay, I'm failing, which is such a negative thing, when actually really failing is beautiful and wonderful and everyone needs to do it, because we're never going to get anywhere. And secondly, it's not failing, because like it's failing if you stop.
Yeah.
But actually,
that's it.
If it doesn't matter how long the distance goes in between that moment, if you get back up again, and this is the hard lesson that I'm learning about at the moment. I keep getting smushed down into the ground, like to these terrible dark lows. Yeah. And it's just about reminding yourself that I am gonna stand the fuck back up. Yeah. No matter what the fuck comes at me, I'm gonna do it, because I deserve better than this, and because I'm not gonna stay down there, because it's a dead end. It's an absolute dead end. You can't go anywhere with it.
Exactly. And where else can you go from the bottom up? You might as well just get back up again. Like, no, 100%. And that is what fucks people up. It's not the falling off, it's the falling off and allowing it to keep you off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then your self-esteem gets knocked. You start thinking all these negative things about yourself.
Terribly.
Start thinking you can't, start comparing. We live in a world where it's so easy to do.
Enemies. Like, it's so bad. No one hates us as much as we hate ourselves. And that is the saddest thing of all.
I'll say.
We are born. What was that?
Where is the love?
No, seriously. It's like we're born alone. We will go through life alone and we'll die alone. Yeah, we have people around us, but we are the only person that is a constant in our lives. And so we really need to build a bond with ourselves.
Because we would literally be with other people, it's like I would lift everyone up to the heavens. Yeah. But when it comes to me, I'm just like, no, fuck you. Get down, bitch.
I know. And it's so difficult though, because can't even say I love myself, so that's telling. I know, but it's like, it's a hard thing to explain. I do love myself. I do like myself, whatever. But then obviously there's things that I don't. it's like I'm confident in certain aspects, but then I'm also insecure. Like, we all have insecurities. Not one person on this planet can say that they don't have insecurities. We all do, but I don't hate everything of myself. So I wouldn't want to say that, like, I'm that insecure or like I'm that hard on myself, because I'm not. But it's just dependent on what it is, you know. Like, I love this about my personality, but then I hate this. And I like this about my looks, but then I hate that.
And I think that's the problem, because we live in a day and age, I think, where it's very much this is good and this is bad.
Yeah.
But actually, I think it's really important to kind of look at it less like that and more like this is who we are as a whole.
Yeah.
I possess this quality, I possess this quality.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily good or bad, but that you could say it's strengths and weaknesses, but then everyone has strengths and weaknesses.
Of course.
And I think the problem is, when it comes to the weaknesses, a lot of people hide away from the weaknesses because it makes them feel like they are less than.
Yeah.
So then they hide it, and then they just give all this validation to all the good stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
When actually we need to acknowledge the weaknesses that we possess or whatever, and it doesn't make us any less than of a person.
Yeah.
It's just who we are.
But it's so crazy, because isn't it mad how, like, one thing that we could see or feel is a weakness for us, others would kill to have.
Exactly.
You know, there's so many people. Like, I feel like I'm too empathetic. I'm too like soft-hearted. I'm too emotional. But then there's other people that, like, they feel like they're made of stone, and they wish that they could be more emotionally connected and etc.
So this is what it just doesn't
crazy.
even matter, because you could just be anything, because there's so many people in the world. Someone's always going to have an opinion.
Yeah.
Someone's always going to have an opinion.
Yeah. It's just, sometimes I'm like, because look, Instagram is, like, what's your favourite app? What is your favourite social media app? Mine is Instagram.
The one I use the most would be TikTok and Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, so mine is Instagram. And yet it makes me so insecure.
Yeah.
It does.
Literally.
But I don't think about it unless we're having a conversation like this.
No.
I look at it all and I take it in, and I guess it does affect me, because you see all these perfect Instagram models or whatever it is, or you see, like, your friends maybe having, like, the time of their life, and you see this picture of a life that you feel, oh God, I want, or I should be doing that, or I wish I'd done that, or whatever, of other people. And it does. No, I just wish sometimes that I, like, could just shut off and shut down everything and just live a life free of.
So that is the question I was going to say. Okay, so in terms of social media and that dopamine kick and everything, what is it that draws you to pick up your phone and open the app?
Yeah.
What is that? Like,
do you know what? It's so weird. I don't know what. I think boredom is just what, or curiosity is just what, just being in the now and the knowing what's going on. I think maybe that's what draws me to pick up my phone and look. But what keeps me looking is, I guess,
the pain.
Yeah, but as much as, like, I would say, as much as it is pain, I guess. What is the word? Is it envy? Would it be envy? I'm, like, looking like, okay, saving. That's what I want to look like. That's what I want my arse to look like. That's what I want my face to look like. That's what I want my makeup to look like. I'm saving everything.
Like, you're addicted
like,
to
if
the
you look at my saved,
to the possibility.
Yes. If you look at my saved, all the fucking,
oh my God,
like,
I'm so the
the
same,
workout videos, the quotes, the advice things, or like the how to do your makeup of this, how to do your hair like this, or what products to buy, or even just pictures of, like, bodies before and now, like, all these things. And
do you know,
I don't know that they're a negative thing to say, but the reason why I'm going on and looking is because it's like, that's what I want. That's what I want to look like.
you know, what that makes me think about? That makes me think about materialism. Like, the fact that we're trying to take this, we want to hold this in our collection, we want this in our collection, so we're going to save all these different things, thinking that, okay, if I save this, then I can have this and I could be this. But then actually, you know what?
I never look at my save.
I never look at my save.
I never look at my save.
So we are, like, literally sitting there thinking, oh, I can have this, I can have this, I can have this.
And I'm literally like, it's there. I know it's there. Thank God I've saved it. I've got it in my possession.
It's mine. It belongs to me now.
I'm going to get it one day, but I've never looked at it, and I've never done that exercise, and I've never done my makeup that way. I've never bought that product.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And I mean, I don't know how long I've had Instagram, but I've definitely never looked inside.
It's like a false sense of achievement almost, isn't it?
It's absolute bullshit is what it is, really.
Bullshit.
It's actually fucking bullshit.
And don't get me wrong, like, I actually really do love social media, but I think if you were in this mindset, in this stuck world with it, it's hard because it turns into such a painful addiction type thing, and then, like, I would sit there and I would literally have to be like, okay, Amy, don't look at your phone today. Don't look at your phone today. Then I'll look at it and I'll berate myself over it. But then sometimes, like, I'll actually go on to these platforms to do something meaningful or beneficial or, like, I will actually get something. But it's only when, like, that the addiction mind seeps in that I'm like, oh, okay. But I've started to recognise it, actually, because I think we can recognise these things.
Yeah.
Am I recording? Yeah. We can. Just checking, that'll be annoying.
I know.
Should we open the French fancy?
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm not sure about these, like, little fluffy things. Mine keeps getting... Oops, putting food up. Mine keeps getting in my way.
Yeah.
Are you finding yours annoying?
I'm not, actually.
Are you not?
No. But maybe your neck is...
Yeah, you've got good chinness. Like, you're like...
I was going to say that maybe your chin is closer and mine's too big.
Oh, yeah. Oh, to be fair, I've got quite a high...
You've got a high neck, though, yeah.
I think this is something that we could take into account next time on the podcast. Clothing.
100%. Learning. Oh, yeah, clothing.
Yeah, learning. Evolving.
Progressing.
Every day is school day. Okay, what's your favourite colour?
I love these, you know what, yellow and pink, but really it's yellow.
It has to be yellow. Yellow is the favourite.
You love yellow
Yeah, because yellow is the only one that's got a flavour. All the others don't really taste anything. Cheers, my dudes. The others I don't think really taste like anything.
The chocolate doesn't taste good at all, but I eat it.
What do you think?
Why would you not?
That's another thing, isn't it? Why do we do that? Like, I do that too sometimes. I'll sit there and be really full and then just keep eating, trying to fill this void. Like,
what is the void and what's going to fill it? What is it? We don't even know what the fuck the void is.
No, I do know what the void might be.
Oh, do you though?
Well, I can only talk for myself, but, and coming back to what we were saying about social media, why we pick up the phone, I really think it is connection. Because...
Well, it is, yeah.
Because if you think about it, like, you're picking up your phone, you're trying to feel something. And most of the times, like, for me anyway, that I pick up my phone because I'm feeling like a sense of emptiness, or I'm feeling like alone, or I'm feeling troubled, or there's a hardship going on that I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm going to fill it with this instead. But I think actually, like, because if you have a problem or an issue or whatever, and you sit there and talk to somebody about it, then it really just disappears. But what about those moments when you're just on your own and you don't have anyone to talk to? Like, it is easy to just sit there and pick up your phone and get a kind of false sense of connection, and to feel part of something with all these people in the world.
That's very true.
So I think that void, but then I guess the void could be something different for everyone, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, because for me,
I've got
well, yeah, this is the thing, because I've got everything I need in my household. I've got connection, I've got people I can talk to, people that love me, people I love. There's no reason for me, it's not emptiness or loneliness for me. I genuinely think that it's boredom. It's just the addiction. It's the addiction of picking up your phone and scrolling.
Yeah, but
I scroll shit, Amy. I'm not scrolling important things.
Okay, but then I don't think boredom, I see what you're saying, but I feel like boredom is derived from something. So I feel like if you're bored, so you sit and then pick up your phone, like, maybe, like, lack of purpose. Or, like...
Yeah.
Because...
I definitely think that I could not sit still. I can't sit still, and I can't concentrate for too long on something. this is only something that's happened to me since, like, traumatic things. This is not something that I had before trauma. No, definitely not. But yeah, this is going into a completely different subject. But yeah, 100%. Like, after everything I went through, which I don't know whether to discuss or not. But yeah, the shit
trauma. I'll stick to the trauma point then, because
the shit that I went through, the trauma that was inflicted on me, it made me live 95% of my life in a protective bubble.
Word.
I literally was not living in the world. I was physically in the world, my mind was somewhere else. I was in a different place, and I would watch programs on my phone all day long, and I would ignore the real life.
Why do you think that is?
Because then I didn't have to feel what was going on in the real world.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a distraction.
Yeah, it was
escapism again.
Yeah. I
don't know why you don't like the chocolate.
No, the chocolate one isn't that good.
Is it because the chocolate isn't chocolatey?
Yeah.
It's like a fake chocolate.
I think so. Yeah, it doesn't taste that nice, I don't think. You're biting each one to find out. Can I do? I wouldn't. Bit half of each one.
You know what? I like variety.
Oh yeah, I've got mate. Okay.
So I just like have a little bit of pink. If I'm feeling less pink, a little bit yellow.
So you can't stick with one thing.
Oh, wait.
Here we go.
They're unpacking me right now with my French fancies. You know what? No, I can stick to one thing. It's just that I like variety, but it's like what you're saying again, like with the mind. My head is like literally like it's like constantly looking for something new to kind of keep it stimulated. And like you say, I think that's probably a result of avoiding trauma.
Yeah,
like you're trying to run away from it. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what's funny though, that I've just realised that
Clowns.
I've done that lately as well. I've been doing that lately.
What?
Putting one headphone in, watching a program on my phone, and just
Really?
Yeah.
And then doing what?
Washing the dishes with a headphone in, not ignoring the kids, but having one foot in a different world almost, and one foot in this world. And I don't know why I've been doing that lately. I think because it's difficult with the kids sometimes with having additional needs. It is hard.
And I think that's probably the thing. Like, I would sit there and watch Netflix or something to tune out.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you're doing. Like, you can't fully tune out.
Yeah, I'm
so
half
you've got to be there a little bit.
I'm half tuning out.
This exhaustion, isn't it? It's like
it is, and I think sometimes it's the only thing that keeps me sane. And not screaming and shouting all day long, because it's hard.
Yeah, because that is a thing as well, man. Like, how as a mother do you even like do that and get that you time? Because it must be hard to have you time.
That's it. It is hard.
Do you get you time?
I mean, no, not really, but then I suppose that I do things like that. That is a you time. I'll be washing the dishes, the kids are playing or doing whatever they're doing, and I've got my headphone in, I'm listening to music, so I'm either singing in the kitchen or I'm watching a program on my phone whilst I'm doing it.
However,
and then when they go to bed, obviously, but not really, because you're always kind of got one ear out listening for them. You're always
that's
that
what I'm
possibility
saying.
that they could wake.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
Because I don't really get me time in the sense of like a free night from the kids. Hardly ever. And if I do, it would be a very, very rarity. It needs to be planned in advance.
Yeah, because I feel like as a mum, you're always going to be switched on.
Yeah.
So if the kids are in the house with you, then you don't really have that time to kind of fully relax and decompress.
No. And even if you do get a kid-free night, people don't want to look after the kids for more than one day. They definitely don't want to like look after the kids and you coming back to pick them up like in the evening the next day or something. It usually would be that, I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes my mum will help and she'll take the kids and I'll get them like in the afternoon or the evening. But really, it's like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll need to go and get them, or I'll need to be back round at my house to get the kids if I've stayed out or something. So yeah, so it's like I don't ever really. The one thing I think I miss the most is sleep.
Really?
Like a lie-in. Yeah, like a real lie-in. Just don't get me wrong, the kids, especially at the age they're at now, they won't always wake me. Maybe today they woke up at like 7, but I'm like in and off of drifting out of sleep. If they're waking me, you know. But it's not a lay-in. That isn't a lay-in.
No, and I think that's the thing, like you just got to be on the whole time. You just have to be on the whole time. Well, it really puts my shit into perspective, I'm not gonna lie.
What do you mean?
Well, because actually I feel like I probably take all that stuff for granted.
Yeah, but you would. Because you don't know any different.
Yeah, and because I don't have kids. So it's like, but then it's interesting because it's like, oh, okay. I think it comes back down to this idea of the mind and like thinking about, you know, we have that control over our minds and what we're thinking is just what is encouraging us to think in a certain way. Like, so before I had this conversation with you, I would sit here and be like, oh, I feel like I've got no time for myself and whatever. But then hearing what it's like for you and how it's so full on, it's then like, oh, okay, well, I actually do have this. But the only thing that's changed in that is my decision on how I have decided to look at the situation. But it's been based on the information that I've got from you. But I could have sat there and thought about that and changed my mindset in that situation within itself. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, right, when I didn't have kids, I didn't think I had time for myself. I didn't. Like, we can't really look at other people's lives, and I know that it's a saying, like, oh, there's always someone worse off, there's always this, yeah, but they're not you. You're you, and you're going through what you're going through. So, like, if you feel like you don't have enough time for yourself, then you need to make time for yourself, and maybe you don't have enough time for yourself. Like, you. But
then I guess that's the thing. It's making that time, isn't it?
Well,
it's like,
actually
being like, this is something I need, and prioritising that. And I think that's the problem. A lot of us, like, especially as I can imagine as a parent, like, you wouldn't prioritise yourself because you would. It's very easy to be like, okay, the kids are important, and you just forget about yourself. And I think that's what a lot of parents do tend to do.
Well, I think that's what's happened since the minute my kids were born. That's how I was, and especially with the circumstances that I was in, the situation that I was in, I literally no longer existed. I didn't exist at all. I had no identity. My name was my children's. There was no more me. I didn't exist. And, like, genuinely, I can't, like, even really emphasize how much that is what happens. You are no longer.
But then I think I can imagine what you're saying. But then I think it's something that you as an individual have to fight within yourself, the battle to be like, okay, I am just as important.
And you have to, because it comes back to bite you. Because the minute that I got out of the situation that I was in and I had an opportunity to maybe prioritise myself a bit more, I felt like I was walking a very thin line between prioritising myself far too much.
But why is that? And what would make you think that you're prioritising yourself too much?
When you're putting certain things of yourself before your children, then you know you're prioritising yourself too much. Your children have to be first.
Yeah.
No matter what.
But then all the time, because surely there's a point where it's like, okay, me as it, because you're still a person without your children.
Yeah, and
so where is that line?
After them, and this is the thing. But this is what I think I'm still trying to work out, and trying to sort of manage in my my mind and in my lifestyle, because it is difficult. And if you don't prioritise yourself, you can't be good for the kids. If you're not good, they're not good. And you have to have you time to be good, and you have to have a break to be good. Like, you need to, but it is. It's like, what is the limit?
What do you think, like, from an outside perspective, do you think that, for me personally, do you think that maybe it could be the thing that draws you back into prioritising your children more is that question, am I a good parent? Because I feel like if you knew and you was 100% confident in your ability as a parent and what you were doing and secure within yourself, then you would quite easily be able to, like, you know, turn it off and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because in those moments that you're doing what you need to do, you're still fully aware that you're a great parent.
Yeah. The thing is, though, those people, and this is an opinion thing, really. So, but for me, you should never, there's no such thing as a great parent. And like, you should, if you are at a point where you think, nah, I'm a great parent, I'm the best parent, then you...
But I think,
that's not
I
right.
don't have kids, but I feel like there has to be, but to say that you're a great parent doesn't necessarily mean, like, you know, I do this, right, but more so, I do the best that I can.
That's the key, though. Yeah, that's the key. You should always strive to be better, to do better. You should never...
Hello, thank you so much for listening to my podcast and making it to the end. Congratulations. Apologies for that abrupt ending, that was absolutely horrendous, but it was my first one and my battery life did not actually last that long, so we was in mid-flow conversation and it all just died. So I'm definitely going to learn from that one. So I just wanted to take this moment to do a proper outro, to say thank you again. I'm very grateful for you watching this, and hopefully you've learnt something from it and had a chance to have a look at the free tools. I will have another lovely guest to interview and talk to. Woo! Oh yeah, please subscribe.